If you really want to know where things are at with the COVID-19 situation, just look at what corporate media is not talking about and not telling you. For example, it appears that the Danish people seem to be done with the injections. Now, before you accuse me of wishful thinking, I'm only citing new official guidance in that country, which when you read it would tell you this is the case. Here is their guidance. People aged under 50 years and over will be offered vaccination. People aged under 50 who are at a higher risk of becoming severely ill from COVID will also be offered vaccination. But nary a mention of those that are under 50 and that are healthy. Now, I'm not Sherlock Holmes, but to me, arriving at this conclusion is elementary, dear Watson, that they're not recommending vaccination for healthy folks who are under 50. So what led to this? Who knows? Maybe the Danes got a hold of the recent Dutch study I talked about on September 13th. This also was embargoed by corporate media. You didn't hear anything about it as well. So I would encourage you both to share this and that story with not only your friends and colleagues and people who are perhaps on the other side, but more importantly with local government officials. Because I guarantee you, now I've talked to many of them over the last couple of years, they're not that bright. Most of them are simply useful idiots, and they have no clue of what's going on. Given there's little chance that corporate media is mentioning this, and that's pretty much what they've got their ears and ass and everything glued to, they wouldn't have heard of this. Now, another recent thing I watched was Dr. John Campbell. He went to Uganda to see what's happening there, and he sat down with a doctor who was operating a clinic there. And lo and behold, Uganda, they're done with it. And not only that, they have a very low vaccination rate. Now, Dr. Campbell, from when he first started covering the story, I would certainly say it was more in favor of the policy that the governments and the regimes took. He was in favor of the vaccinations. He pretty much trusted the full integrity of the medical system as well as the pharmaceutical industry to a great extent. However, if you watch him in the last few months, that curtain has fallen. He is certainly more skeptical of how things have been taken, the approach that is there, and the ulterior motives of those in charge. So it's refreshing, and he's a great watch for those friends of yours or colleagues who disagree with you, who are more on the moderate side and say, well, I'm not watching Alex Jones or some extreme guy. Dr. Campbell is a great fit for them, and I think he would be a good watch for them to transition them out of, basically coming against the whole narrative 100% to a fellow who's been on the journey with them. So, like I said, Africa is not being covered by corporate media. Why? You remember just at the beginning of the year when they were trying to incite all that fear porn, Africa was going to basically disappear. I mean, the people were all going to die. And then what happened to Sweden? We don't hear a lot about them. They didn't adopt any of this madness, the lockdowns and everything else. And again, what you're not hearing about is the real story, folks. Those of you who watch my videos already know this, but a lot of people that you're probably associating with who only get their information from corporate media, things like MSNBC, CBC, they're never hearing these stories. And that's why it's such hard to penetrate those thick skulls of theirs, because they're like, I never heard of this story. So that's why somebody like Dr. Campbell is a great fit for these folks, because like I said, moderate fellow, certainly was an endorser of the program and the ideas, has walked on that journey, has been very transparent, very fair on both sides, and he's arriving at different conclusions now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have in the comment section. You can also follow me on my Rumble, on my Locals account, and I will see you next time.